guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are giving you our thoughts and opinions on Dickinson Season 2. It first aired in 2019 with Season 1, so we're going to talk about Season 2 since it's the newest one. But anyways, this stars Hailee Steinfield as the main character.
You're about to say Emily Dickinson.
Playing Emily Dickinson, the GOAT. But yeah, let's just jump right on into it. If you guys didn't know or haven't even watched Season 1, you can watch it on Apple TV Plus if you have it. So for me, Season 2 is definitely not as good as Season 1. You can't vouch for that because you didn't really watch Season 1.
Yeah, I didn't finish Season 1. But I will say, to me, Season 2 is better because Season 1 didn't capture my attention. Season 2 did.
So I think what kind of messed it up for me of not liking it as much as I would have, I feel, is watching it spread apart. Normally we'll like watch it every day or every other day or whatever, but with this, since it was coming out every single week, it was kind of like really? Now I gotta wait till next week. It was kind of dreadful to me. We didn't rewatch the episode prior. We're just kind of like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing always now. When it comes out weekly on Apple TV is a service that is starting to do that a lot. It's tough because me personally, and probably you too, like, and anybody, like, that does streaming, you're not used to weekly anymore.
Yeah.
Weekly's like
cable.
Only, yeah, straight satellite, cable, all that stuff. Normally on streaming services now you just get it all at once, and you can binge it if you want. But with this one, you gotta wait, and yeah, that definitely does hold it back a little bit, even for me, because sometimes you kind of forget what just happened, or especially this show. The show's only 30 minutes long.
Yeah.
Really less than that, but 30 minutes like maxed out for the most part, and you don't really get much in there because it's 30 minutes compared to a whole hour. So you get 30 minutes, you gotta wait 7 days for 30 minutes again. It's like kind of sucks. But I will say I was into this. I don't love it. It's just not my type of show, like all crazy. I will say though, like it did get interesting. There were some points in here that got interesting. Like even with when she goes to that like nobody can see her phase. And you find out that her best friend that she actually is like low-key in love with,
who her brother is married to.
His brother's married to, is sleeping with the guy that she told to go for him, and then she ended up liking him, and then just to find out her friend is like, that probably sounds confusing.
So Emily, her brother, I forget his name, and Sue,
which is her friend
/ brother's wife.
But initially it's just her friend.
Yeah, and there's this publisher who Sue connects Emily with. Yeah,
but okay, so it starts like this. There's Emily Dickinson and Sue. They're best friends. Or, yeah, they're best friends, right? And then Emily has a brother. The brother marries her best friend. Sue. But we already knew Emily and her friend liked each other.
From Season 1.
From Season 1. We knew Emily and Sue liked each other. But obviously they couldn't be together. That's not like obviously that's not a thing that can happen.
Yeah.
Especially back then. But her brother ends up marrying Sue, right? So then in this season, they're married. And there's a publisher that gets in contact with Emily through Sue, and Sue keeps pushing Emily to talk to him, to like kind of like be with him, like almost like try to get to be with him.
And he's married.
And you find out Sue is sleeping with them.
Yeah.
Ends up sleeping with him, cheating on Emily's brother, and not cheating on Emily, but kind of crossing Emily because she was telling Emily to go for him, and now you're sleeping with them.
And on top of,
and you're my friend.
Her cheating on her brother.
That's what I said.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's where it was getting like interesting. But this whole show though is very weird though, because this whole show is almost all about cheating.
Oh, her brother's name is Austin.
Not all about cheating, but like everybody is like into someone else, or like it's all weird. And yeah. Emily's not even good in this. And your brother is married to her. Yeah,
now it's really like a love situation, like crossing.
Yeah.
Because you have Sue and Emily, who Sue is married to Emily's brother Austin, and the girl who is a widow now.
Yeah.
They're eyeing each other while Sue was sleeping with the publisher, who is now sleeping with Emily.
Well,
Sue's everywhere.
Well, Sue's sleeping with Emily.
Yeah.
You made it sound like the publisher was sleeping with Emily.
Oh no, Sue.
And then Emily's sister,
Lavinia,
is like super sexual, or I don't know, but the other guy doesn't want to be. It seems like as much.
He's just not into that weird stuff, and she's pretty weird.
Yeah, she's weird. And
in every way.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's a very weird show. It's a show that's so kind of confusing to me because it seems like it's like almost a kid family show at points. And then it's really just sexual. There's no like crazy cussing or anything like that, and no violence all crazy. But it's really just starts getting sexual. Not really showing too much, but just the talk.
The verbiage.
And stuff like that. So it's a very confusing show because just watching it, from a distance without seeing that part, you would think like, oh, this is like a family kids show, teen show. But then there's also some other stuff show. And like Wiz Khalifa's in there again, and he's definitely smoking weed.
Which I'm kind of disappointed in because he was in season 1 like a lot, like almost every episode, and he's only made like 1 or 2 appearances.
Yeah, he's like barely in it. But I do enjoy that character. Like, I do enjoy when he's in it. My favorite episode, though, I will say, is when they do the seance and all that stuff.
That was a good one.
That was a good episode because it was just different. It was just different. My biggest thing I don't like about the show still is sort of the tie-in with trying to be modern and trying to keep it, like, I guess, funny, or I don't know what they're trying to do with that while being in the 1850s, like, or whatever it is, because I don't think they said cap. They said something that people say right now, and no one else, they never said it back then. I know they didn't. I don't think it was cap, though. I think it was like, there was a few things.
Something along those lines.
There was a few things, and I'm like, I don't know. But I feel like they do it on purpose, though.
Well, yeah. But that's the thing with, like, season 1 and season 2. Season 1, you kind of got that with, like, the humor and this and that. And it was kind of downplayed, which I was cool with. But with this one, they, like, really upplayed it, and it was, like, constant. Yeah. And even through season 2, we were just watching it, and then we'd be like, real quick to each other, like,
yeah, like they definitely did not talk like that. But I mean, overall, it's a decent show. I know people do like this show. I mean, obviously you like the show, but I know a lot of people do like the show, and it's not bad. It's a pretty good show. I'm assuming they're gonna continue it just because of the way this one ended.
They have to.
You have to. You have to see what happens because literally Emily and Sue are sleeping together,
banging it out on the kitchen table.
It wasn't me, but it was her. No, but yeah, so we had to figure out, like, what's the brother going to do now? He probably won't even care, though, really, because
he wants kids, and who he's eyeing already has a kid, and she probably wants more kids, whereas Sue doesn't want kids.
Yeah, well, Sue doesn't want kids because she
had a miscarriage. But I think she didn't want kids since before that, because they talked about it before they got married. And she hid that from him, and he found out. Yeah. And she doesn't know that he found out. Yeah. The show knows that she's cheating on him.
He knows.
No, she doesn't know that he knows.
Oh. Yeah, this show is very like everyone's kind of behind each other's back in a way. In a sense, either they have a secret or they have they're doing some snake stuff or like something like that. And it's so funny because everybody that gets pointed into a direction, they want the other direction. Like everybody. Emily didn't really want the publisher guy, but she was like almost forced to go for him because Sue, but she wanted Sue. Sue wanted Emily, but was forced to go with Austin, I mean, he wanted Sue.
He wanted her from the jump, and now he's kind of like...
Yeah, now he wants something else. And the sister, I mean, I don't know what she wants. She's just a little crazy.
She wants him, but she doesn't want him.
Yeah.
Like, before I feel like the ties were like very one-way path, but now it's kind of like... everywhere.
Yeah, and the publisher, like the thing with him is it seemed like he was into Emily at first.
That's how they made it.
That's how they made it seem, and then it seemed like okay, he wasn't.
And it kind of made it seem like towards the end, like he was only giving her that attention. I felt like he was leading her on purpose because I feel like if he felt like he didn't do that, she wouldn't have given him the poems.
And that's the thing too. I do like that part of him not giving the poems back because that does speak to like today as far as like. This, they didn't really have a contract or anything, right? He just didn't want to give them back.
Yeah, he's like, you gave them to me and you can't take them back.
Yeah, and they're like mine now. And that kind of like goes with like now, if you think of like the music industry, I guess you can think of a poem as like music now. But as far as that, like once you give up your rights, technically, she didn't really give up her rights, but he doesn't have to give it back to her. Now they kind of own you in a sense. So even though the Irish lady that's very random in the show, but she
came in clutch.
She came in clutch and snatched him up. So that was cool.
The one thing that bugged me this entire season, that irked me so much, was how many mistakes they made while filming. Especially...
yeah, that was a good amount.
So many. There was this one scene where she had this dirt on her face, and it wasn't there, and then it was there, and then it wasn't there.
No, but it was like in different spots, and then it just wasn't there at all. Yeah, that was like...
and then her face was clean and then dirt back on it.
Yeah, that was the worst one because...
it's literally right in her face.
Yeah, it's right in her face, and obviously the makeup team, crew... no, I mean, not even just them. Like, literally everybody. Everybody should know, wait, this is not the same. Or she literally has nothing on her face. There's supposed to be dirt.
Something.
So that was interesting, and that was weird to me because I know Apple... is trying to be like classic HBO style where it's like everything's high quality. You don't like you can't let this happen.
Yeah, and it wasn't dirt, it was ink.
Yeah, it was ink.
And even like in the last episode with Austin, like it's very minor, but at the same time, like when he was doing the adoption, or not the adoption, what's it called? Being the godfather for the baby, he had his head turned when the camera was facing behind him, facing this way. And then when it was facing the front, he was down like this, and then cut back to this way, he was like that. Yeah. It's just like you can't move your head that quick.
One other thing I will say about this show too, though, is like I know this is about Emily Dickinson, and there's poems, and she's a poet and all this stuff, but like I don't understand these poems. Every time they go across the screen and she's like saying them, I don't understand them, and I don't understand if the connection is there an actual connection to what's going on currently, or is this just like a poem they're just reading to read?
They're so complex, but they do go with what's happening in the moment, because I have noticed that. But
I don't get it. I do not get any of them. Like, I just don't. And I hate the writing they use. Like, it looks cool, but like I can't even read it half the time, or I only read some of the words, and it's like, I don't know. It is complex because it's not just straightforward. It's very like metaphorical and using certain words that are just like used to make it sound poetic or sound smart when, you know, but.
And that's another thing I wonder about the poems that they use. Like, it goes with what's happening in the moment in the scenes, but did they make the show around her poems to make it like that, or did they just, are these not her poems, they just made them up?
Oh, they better be your poems. I would just be dumb. I mean, but I've never read Emily Dickinson poems. I never read any poems really, unless it was in school.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we ever came across Emily Dickinson. But what I will say is they better be. And
especially the ones published in the magazine. Those ones have to be.
Well, just all of them. The ones that she's saying, the ones that are going across the screen, like they better be, because you can, like, for instance, if it's about love or about whatever, like you don't have to. It's not that hard to make something around that. So I don't think it'd even be that hard. So they better be real, or this show drops to me. It's not as good as I even think it is now.
Also with season 1, it kind of flowed across the whole season, whereas with this one, it was kind of like jump. Like you never knew what was coming in the next episode. Like one day they'd be at home, and then the next day they're going to like this spa retreat kind of thing. And then the next
that was a weird episode.
Way back home.
Yeah, and then another episode, the seance thing. Another episode, she's invisible.
Like, I liked how it was kind of diverse, but at the same time, it was just like jump. Like, you never know what's happening next. Which I guess is kind of a good thing, but it didn't really flow.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm excited for season 3, but I'll definitely watch it just because I think season 2 was pretty good. And I am interested in where the story goes, because I want to see, like we already mentioned, this like weird love situation with everybody. How is everybody gonna react to Emily and Sue being gay and wanting to be together?
Yeah, I liked the first season, but I feel like since then it's kind of been like up and down. Like season 2 definitely had its highs and lows. So I don't really know how I feel about season 3. Like, yes, I want a season 3 just because I want to see how everything plays out, but I don't know if I want it. You know. So
yeah, that's going to be the review for Dickinson season 2. Like we said, you can find it on Apple TV Plus. It's an Apple original. It's actually the first Apple original to have a second season that has come out. And like we said, we were going to review it in a video prior. I forget which one it was. And we did. This is the review now. And Servant will be up next from Apple.
We still have to start watching.
We haven't even started it. But just like we were saying, it's only 30 minutes long as well, and they come out once a week. But either way though, like I said, that's the end of the video. So if you enjoyed it, definitely leave a like. We appreciate that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Definitely comment down below your thoughts on season 2 of Dickinson, and also let us know if you're looking forward to season 3. And let us know what you think is going to happen in season 3 with this little love situation with everybody. Let us know down below in the comments. But either way though, my name is Matt.
My name's Nicole.
And we'll catch you next time.